Howdy, this is Sergeant K USMC coming to you from the Healers for Heroes Ranch in beautiful Plano, Texas. On behalf of the Healers for Heroes program, I'm joined tonight with Lauren Webster. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
And today we are going to go over everything that you need to do in order to get your horse ready for the trail. So, without further ado, Lauren, if you'll take it away, show us what tools we are going to be using tonight.
Alright, so today we have a collection of grooming tools, lots of different things as you can see. Some of them have pretty much the same purpose, some of them are a little bit more...
like specialized.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so first I'm going to show you these three things. They all have the same name, but they're kind of, as you can see, they're different in the way they look. This is kind of a soft, rubbery, massaging type thing that you can use to get dirt off. You can use to just kind of, like I said, a massaging brush. Mm-hmm. This right here is a little bit more intense. It's a metal comb with metal teeth. You got to be real careful whenever you use this one, just because of the fact that it's metal, it can hurt them, it can scratch them.
Now, how hard? Now, because we didn't actually cover this, so these all have the same name.
Yes, these are all curry combs.
How would you be capable of determining, like if somebody said, hand me a curry comb, you're not wrong if you hand them either one of these three things.
Right.
Okay.
It's more so the preference of the person.
Okay, gotcha.
So
when you say being careful with the metal one, sharp metal teeth, I can attest to that. So show me like how hard you would use that on a horse.
This is what I would do to get like the hard dirt clumps off their back.
Off their back, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you out there that if you were to take a fork and just kind of lightly put the fork in your hand and rub it, that's basically the pressure that you put on it. It's very light. Okay.
Yeah, not too hard. This is kind of the same thing as this. It's plastic though, so I mean it's not quite as cruel or harsh on the horse.
Is there any benefit or potential change, anything like that? I mean, is the metal one better than the plastic one better than the rubber one in any way? Or
nope, like I said, it's mostly preference. This is more so, like I said, it's easier to use. It's not quite, you don't have to be too careful.
Sure.
It's more, this is more of a relaxing brush that kind of has the firmness to get the dirt and the mud clots off.
Okay, and what else will we be using?
All right, this is called a mane and tail brush. You can use it for both mane and tail, combing out like you would a human's head.
Okay.
You have 3 bristle brushes here. You've got hard, medium, and soft. This right here is kind of really, don't know what probably like a shop broom.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, very much like a shop broom, very stiff bristles. They're all kind of like aligned in a straight thing, very, very tightly clumped. Okay.
Yes, so this is used kind of like as an alternative to this. More so like on their legs where it's harder to, I mean, you don't want to use this on their legs because their bones are right up next to the surface. So you'd use this as opposed to your curry comb to get the mud off of their legs.
Okay.
Or you can just hose them off like I did earlier today because it's been real muddy out in our pasture.
Yes, it has. We have had floods of biblical proportions lately. Okay, so the next one.
Next one is medium, kind of just like a regular broom, you would say. And it's kind of just for getting the dust off and just, whatever's not whatever this isn't necessary.
Gotcha. So like stage 1, stage 2 kind of thing.
Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
Gotcha.
Okay. This right here is it was a soft bristle brush, and it's kind of relatable to a, you would say like a
boot brush.
Boot brush.
Like
there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Polishing brush. So this is kind of just used to make them pretty. With finishing touch, getting all the dust off and just making them shiny.
Okay.
All right. This, in my opinion, is a very most important tool.
Okay.
This is called a hoof pick. There's a bunch of different kinds of them out there. Your primary use is this little thing right here. It's a little pick type thing.
Hence the name, I guess, in hoof pick.
Hoof
pick.
Okay. You use it to scrape any foreign objects that aren't supposed to be in their feet off.
Okay.
Out of it. This is kind of a little convenience brush. You just use it to scrape it off whenever no digging is really necessary.
And that one feels about as stiff as that one, roughly.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. This is kind of shaped a little funky. I think you can kind of use that to scrape off the outside of their feet whenever there's mud on it. So not necessary, but a lot of little knickknacks. What we have here, as you can see, mane and tail detangler. Just makes it easier to brush out their mane and tail after they've been out in pasture. You haven't tended to them. Just makes it quicker and easier and less painful.
Okay.
take out less
so
hair.
just like human hair,
Yeah.
sometimes you got to do a conditioner kind of thing.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Right here is a homemade organic fly spray. And, you know, depending on the area you're in and the time of year you're in, you need a fly spray.
So what is your personal preference? Do you like the one with the pesticides or the natural stuff?
You know, I personally would go with the pesticide-free if I could make it myself. However, you know, when life gets busy, you just have to, you're in the feed store anyways, it's there, it's
Sure.
cheap, you know, you just pick up a bottle. So that's what I use. So, but like I said, another personal preference.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is the byproduct of a happy horse happening in the background. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick pause right now. This will look like a somewhat strange smash cut transition. All right, Lauren, show us how it's done. Let's get your horse ready for a ride.
All right, so I'm going to get both of these curry combs here.
Okay, first off, introduce us to your fella.
Okay, this is Nate. If you've seen my horse tail, you've known we've been together for about 10 years now. And this is my buddy.
Cool. So we are with rapt attention, waiting for you to show us the proper way to do this.
Okay, so I'm going to show you both ways to use this. Like I said, I personally prefer the metal toothbrush, but like I said, massager.
Okay.
Start towards the front of the horse, kind of work your way back. It's going to
Okay.
go that way, you know, pretty much the whole way.
So kind of you start from the
Start from
top
the front.
corner and you make your way back. And for those of you who can't see really well, she's making nice little circles and spots. He definitely seems to enjoy it.
Oh yeah, it's one of his favorites. So I'm kind of just, you know, giving him a massage, hitting the crusty dirt spots, and they're coming out pretty easily. It's not too bad. If I had, you know, mud clots, I would definitely have to use this. But so same thing. Start from the front, work your way back. It's not really too necessary up here. There's not a whole lot of dirt.
No, I notice on that one that you're not actually doing the circles anymore.
No, that's not necessary with the circle. With this one, it's actually probably wouldn't be too comfortable on him either. And that's also something to remember is grooming is a form of bonding between you and your horse. So you want it to be, you know, a relaxing experience for him.
A pleasant thing that he wants to do, that he's happy to have done, kind of
Yes, absolutely. So, like I said, no major mud. Oh, there's some right there. And always too, make sure whenever you focus on your grooming, you want to ensure, especially if you don't have a whole lot of time to groom, focus on the spots where your saddle and your bridle are going to go.
So that's the most important spot in your opinion on the upper side of the horse.
Yes. So obviously my saddle goes here. I've got a front cinch that goes here and a back cinch that kind of falls about right here. So obviously I'm going to make sure, run my hand down here, make sure there's no major mud clots. And if there isn't, I'm just going to kind of, you know, go again over the massaging brush, kind of just let him enjoy that for a minute. And then after that, we're going to move on to the hard bristle brush.
The hard bristle brush.
Yes.
So that would be this brush right here, the one that we discussed earlier, the
Yes.
one that feels like a shot brush. I'll take these from you.
All right, start from the front, work your way back. I'm gonna get underneath the mane, lift it up a little so you don't miss anything up there. Down underneath on his chest. Up here. Like I said, I hosed his legs off earlier. He doesn't have a whole lot of mud on his legs, but that's where I would use this to go down around his legs to get the mud clots off.
And that's the brush that you would use for legs and stuff like that.
Yes.
So if I understand correctly, with the various curry combs, you kind of avoid going anywhere where there's like really close bone to the skin. That's more of a for the meaty parts.
Yes.
And then that would be it's safe to use everywhere.
Pretty much. Yeah,
Okay.
this isn't going to hurt them. I mean, at least not unless they have like a fresh wound or something like that exposed. But you always want to be careful regardless of what you're using whenever you check your horse. Make sure there's no bleeding parts, no cuts, no scrapes.
And I guess this is a great time to do that, to physically inspect your horse to make sure that they don't have any wounds, any cuts, any scrapes, any abrasions, things like that.
Right, and I just found a little bit more mud on his belly. I'm going to start from the front, go all the way back. Be careful though. Sometimes, depending on the horse you have, this area right here is more sensitive. It's called his flank.
Okay.
And down around this area, it's kind of like, I don't know what you call it, but just, it's real, it's a tender area.
Tender area.
So kind of, make sure you're not, be gentle with him on this area.
I think he agrees.
All right, so Right now he looks pretty good. Don't look like there's any more major mud clots or anything like that. I'm going to move on to my medium bristle brush.
So I'll grab the medium bristle brush for those of you who are paying attention at home. I'm the assistant. I feel like we're in a surgery. Medium bristle brush, doctor.
All right. Like I said, just dust that's kind of lingering. Now start from the front, work your way back underneath his mane.
Now, I have to say for those of you watching, we actually do kind of clean up the horses a little bit before we begin. And she did clean up her horse a little bit, but to kind of put it into context of just how much dirt, dust, etc. can get kind of put in here, even though he's been hosed off and he was cleaned, and we just started cleaning him again with all this dust flying off of a horse. So it's pretty much impossible to get them 100% clean, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much. If you can see in the camera right now, there's a bunch just kind of collected right above his flank right here. So I'm just going to brush it off in short strokes all the way down, all the way back. And I'm going to do that for pretty much, wherever I see it coming off of him. At least 1 or 2 good times over his whole body.
Okay. And then the next one will be the
Next
finishing
one is
brush.
finishing
So let me go
brush.
grab the finishing brush for you. That would be the really soft, the boot brush kind of brush.
Alright, so again,
Back
from the front all the way to the back. And it's kind of just, this is pretty much, a one-time over type deal. Just a polishing thing. As you can see, it's still kind of floating off of him, but like I said, it's going to happen. There's no, unless you take him and actually give him a bath, there's really not getting all of that mud off.
Gotcha.
There we are with that. And now he's all pretty.
Yes, indeed he is. And I think you enjoyed that compliment, so I'll take this. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stop petting you. My bad, buddy.
If you will, hand me the mane and tail brush and the hoof pick.
I'm now handing her the mane and tail brush. This one's kind of like a brush from the 80s. For those of you who were born this century and don't know what that looks like, ask your parents. So that's the mane and tail brush. This is the hoof pick.
Oh, and also mane and tail detangler, please.
And the mane and tail detangler. So I will hold the hoof pick for you while you utilize that.
Awesome. Okay. So, mane and tail detangler. Depending on what brand you have, it's most of the time it's just, a few sprays all the way from the front to the back. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
That's what I do. And the way I do it, you start either way. I'm going to go, for sake of being consistent, I'm going to start from the front and then go to the back.
Okay.
Start at the bottom so you don't yank a whole lot of tangles out, and go up till you get to the top right up here. And Nate only has one side of his mane is just one on one side, so I don't have to worry about going to the other side either.
Okay, so now is that common? Because on my guy, his mane sort of falls in one direction as opposed to, oh, well, hi there, dude. Oh, he likes this. Oh my gosh, good boy. Mine hates it when I do his mane. Is that common?
I guess I've never really noticed if a horse, really does or really doesn't. All I know is, just it's overall, you just try to make it relaxing for him.
Okay.
So, like I said, start from the bottom, work your way up so you don't yank out as many tangles as you would starting from the top.
Sure.
But yeah, Nate's a pretty all-around good guy. He's not really picky. He's real sturdy. He don't have major problems, nothing like that. So he's kind of just, whatever, Mom.
He's definitely displaying it. I wish that mine acted this well when I was trying to get him brushed out. Now, I was kind of hinting at it earlier, and then Nate decided that he wanted to smile for the camera. He said his mane falls in one direction. Now, some horses, the mane goes in both directions?
Yeah, occasionally you'll see it. A lot of people will try and get the mane to flop over to one side. It's really just a preference again. It's not, it doesn't affect them in any way.
Okay.
Some people have their, folk tales about how the mane flips on one side. And
Yeah.
you'll hear it every now and then.
Okay.
All right. So I'm done with his mane. I'm going to move back down to his tail.
Okay, we're heading down to the super dangerous end.
Yes. Always remember whenever you're grooming, especially if it's around an unfamiliar horse, if you ever go behind or switch sides or whatever, and you go towards the back, make sure you always let your horse know what you're doing.
Okay.
So if I were to be going around him, I would just kind of, pat him on his butt, let him know I'm heading around, talk to him if you want, and just let him know.
Okay.
He's blind back here. He can't see what's going on.
And that makes him nervous.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So basically just, let him know what you're up to. I'm very comfortable with Nate, so I'm comfortable with standing right behind him. I know he's not going to hurt me. But again, unfamiliar horse, you want to stand over to the side whenever you do your brushing. Just in case, something happens, he gets freaked out, and you're right in his path to kick straight back.
And just for the, not even so much for the purposes of liability, but me personally, even with my guy that I know really, really well, I never feel comfortable doing that behind him. That's me personally. So like you said, it's an issue of personal preference. I would always recommend and caution people, personal experience, I'm not the expert that you are, to always kind of be on one side or the other, just in case.
All right, so again, a few sprays, up his tail, down his tail. I kind of like let it fall out of my fingers, spray it a few more times just to get the insides. I'll set this down.
Now, do you recommend using this every single time or just when it's super tangled?
I like to use it because it also kind of gives their tail a little shine.
Okay.
And it, it makes it easier for me.
Okay.
Sometimes, there's horses that have really nice tails. You really don't have to do a whole lot of pulling whenever you brush out their mane or tail, or it might be really short or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got a really long tail.
Sure.
So it takes a minute.
I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. Again, start from the bottom, work your way up so you avoid pulling out as many tangles as possible. So what I'll do is kind of just lay it up against my leg, brush it out, move up a little bit, same thing, all the way up to the top.
Okay.
So, and there you have it.
And that is how you get your horse ready for a ride, with the exception of the super
Yes.
important part.
Yes.
Okay, so now I have been told that if you only have time to do one thing, this is the thing that you do.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll hand you that.
Your horse's feet are very important. If your horse's feet hurt, you're not going to have a good ride. So, with that being said, I'm going to pick out his feet. I'm going to show you one, and you can apply it to all the rest of them. All right, so I'm going to stand up here, kind of just right in front of his foot, run my hand down all the way until you get just past this little ball right here. All right, and he knows what I'm doing. He's picking it up for me. But usually if they don't pick it up right away, you can kind of squeeze a little bit up here. It kind of puts some pressure on a tendon, and they know, oh, okay, that's what I need to do. So you'll pick it up, bring it up here. I hold with my left hand, pick with my right. And what I'm going to do is take the pick, start up here, and just kind of dig in a little bit.
Oh, wow, that is super muddy. Okay.
Yeah. And kind of just, and there you go. That's real simple.
And that doesn't hurt him at all.
Nope, this doesn't hurt. You have to be careful whenever you are using the pick, obviously. You don't want to dig too deep. Obviously, this is soft down here. It's hard, but it's soft. This is their sensitive, this is their sensitive part right here. You see this V? It's
called the frog, right?
Yes, called the frog.
Okay.
This part right here is called the frog. That's a very sensitive, very soft part of their foot. So you want to be careful, take care of that. Make sure there's no nails, there's no sticks or rocks hanging out in there. Like I said, if they're uncomfortable, you're going to be uncomfortable, and it starts all down in their feet.
And this exact same procedure is what you would do even with a horse that has shoes, because I noticed that your horse is barefooted.
Yes, he's barefoot for now. We're in off season, so I don't really have any major reason to have shoes on him. But yeah, he would just have a shoe. If you've never seen a horseshoe, it just goes right straight around. This stuff is still exposed, but you kind of want to make sure whenever you pick them out with shoes that you get kind of in between.
Gotcha.
the loose parts. So because there's still dirt up underneath their shoe.
Okay, so it'd be kind of like having a pebble in your sock.
Yeah, kind of the same thing.
Okay, so is that everything?
I believe that's everything.
Of course, the most important part, though, once you're all done,
Make sure he's got a cookie.
and he nod. Yep, because he knows what's coming up. Well, thank you very much, Nate, for being in our video and letting us take the opportunity to get you cleaned up for the trail. Lauren, thank you very much for coming again. We'll definitely be seeing much more of her. I'm Sergeant K, USMC, at the Healers for Heroes Ranch in beautiful Plano, Texas, on behalf of the Healers for Heroes program. Visit us on Facebook, visit us on Twitter, Instagram. We are a charitable donation. We will make sure that you have a link to our PayPal down below. We can't survive without it. And as always, come say howdy. Good night.